Coming up, what is the first of the 10 commandments? It might seem like an odd question, but it's not. Jews and Christians give different answers. The reason is that what we know as the 10 commandments is in the original Hebrew, the 10 statements. And since the Hebrew is the original, we begin with the first statement in which all religions agree upon. Stay tuned. Bible 360 starts. Wait for it. Wait for it. Right now. Welcome to the Bible 360 podcast. I am your host, Keyston France, and we are going to continue our journey through the 10 commandments with the first statement. I am the Lord, your God, who took you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. This statement is so important that none of the other commandments make sense without it. First, it asserts that God is giving these commandments, not Moses or any other human being. Second, God is the one that delivered you from slavery. Again, no human being did this, not even Moses. Therefore, you have an obligation to God. And what is that obligation, you may ask? That you live by the following 9 commandments. This is the beginning of what is known as ethical monotheism, the greatest world-changing innovation of the Hebrew Bible. Ethical monotheism means that the one God, monotheism, is the source of ethic morality. Morality, an objective code of right and wrong, does not emanate from human opinion. It emanates from God, which transcends human opinion. The other meaning of ethical monotheism is that what God wants most from us is that we treat other human beings morally. None of the 10 commandments concerns what humans must do for God. Pre-10 commandment religions all believe that people must do a lot for their gods with the small g. For an example, feed them and even sacrifice people to them. But now, thanks to the 10 commandments, mankind learned that what God wants is that we be good to our fellow human beings. Even the commandments concerning not having false gods and not carrying God's name in vain are ultimately about morality. The thing we can do for God is to treat all his children decently. Every parent or parents can relate to the fact that they have joy when they see their children act lovingly towards one another, and indescribable pain when they see their children hurt one another. So to God, who is likened to his Father in heaven, cares most about how we treat other human beings, all of whom are his children. The third critical teaching of the first statement, I am the Lord your God who took you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, is the importance and the meaning of freedom. Note that God is not saying in this introduction to the 10 commandments that he created the world. It surely would have made a lot of sense for God to introduce the 10 commandments with this statement, I'm the Lord your God who created the world. That is, after all, pretty impressive and would make sense. I created the world and you better listen to me. But no, the one thing that God declares is that he took the children of Israel out of slavery and into freedom. That's how much God hates slavery and how important God considers freedom. Ironically, the founders of America based their entire view of America on this belief that God wants us to be free. That is why the most iconic symbol of American Revolution, the Liberty Bell, has only one sentence inscribed on it, a verse from the Hebrew Bible. Proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. But there is one other equally important lesson about freedom mentioned by the opening statement of the 10 commandments, what freedom means. The giver of the 10 commandments is in effect saying, look, I took you out of slavery and into freedom, and these 10 commandments are the way to make a free society. You cannot be a free people if you do whatever you want. Freedom comes from the moral self-control. There's no other way to achieve it. Fourth and finally, by telling us that he liberated the Hebrew slaves, God made clear that he cares deeply about human beings. It is impressive to create the world, but what most matters is not only is there a creator, but that the creator cares about his creation. All of that is in the one statement with which the 10 commandments begin. Think about it. Hey, I want to say thanks again for tuning into the show. If you enjoyed it, please show me some love and go on over to YouTube and subscribe to my page, Bible 360 Outreach, and hit that bell right next to it so you know when I'm posting. You can also find the show listed in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and pretty much any other podcast directories. Until next time, I wish you a very pleasant adieu.